When I first became a nurse, I think that when everybody thinks of nursing, right, I think they think that it's cute. Oh my gosh, you're a nurse. Ooh, scrubs. Like
Crocs.
yeah,
Stanley.
yeah. It's like aesthetically pleasing. Sometimes we go through a lot. Sometimes we go through patient abuse. Sometimes we go through colleagues that we may not necessarily agree with. Like there's so many things that are happening within this day to day that it was kind of hard for me to just talk about it to my friends. I could talk about it to my mother because my mother's a nurse, so she understands. But when it came down to talking about my friends, they just didn't understand. Like those who weren't nurses, which at the time I didn't have too many, I probably had like one or two. They just really didn't get it. So I'm like, I want to create a space where we're able to connect and talk about what we go through and how we go through it and how do we face these obstacles and what advice do you have to give, and like let's also celebrate our accomplishments together. Like I wanted a space for that.
Girl, don't get me started on the fact that we should all be in the jungle naked eating fruit. Like, don't get me started on that. Doing the nasty behind a tree.
French class together.
Yes,
I don't think we told the people that.
We were.
Yes, we were in French class together, and Cassie really like held me down in class.
Because the girls are so pretty.
They're beautiful. Yeah, so I've honestly grew up in a church.
Are you only for the blacks?
No, that is not the theme.
Because I'm just a girl.
Literally just a girl.
Hey, y'all. Welcome back to Through with a Splash of Tea, a podcast where we either speak to brilliant people, do this thing one-on-one, or have best friend chats with my best friend, T. I'm your host, Cass, and let's get right into it. So today, we are joined by Francesca Etienne. Francesca, or Fancy, as some of her friends know her, is the owner of the Beyond Nursing Experience, a curated space for healthcare workers, specifically nurses, to connect, find community, and gain resources that allows them to pour back into themselves. Francesca, thank you so much for being here today. I'm so happy.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Okay, so let's dive right into it. And I like to specifically start with my guest's background because I feel like that has so much to do with who you are today. So I want to learn a bit about the dynamic of your household, how it was growing up with the parents you had, the siblings you had, if there were any. Let me know everything.
So I have two brothers. My mom and my dad, they've been together for, I want to say 35 years. Yes, 35 years. And they are, when I tell you they are amazing, they are literally amazing. I feel like even people who's had the opportunity to kind of experience their love, they're like, wow, I need something like that when it's time for me to get married. So I feel like I've been in a very loving, and this probably sounds super cliche, but I feel like I've literally been in a very loving household. One of the things that I also admire too, so I'm Haitian, and I think sometimes with a lot of Haitians, you see like the wife being the sole cooker or the wife being the sole nurturer. In my household, it was very different. We did not really have too many gender roles. Like my mom cleaned, my dad cleaned. My mom cooked, my dad cooked. Like it was everything my mom would do, I see my dad doing. The only thing my dad didn't do is laundry, and I don't blame him because he's not the best with that, right? Everybody has their like strengths, and that just was not it. But that was something that I loved seeing because that also made me feel like, oh, I can kind of do anything I want. Like I don't like there's no such thing as a woman job or a man job. Yeah. It was very neutral based, and I admired that.
Absolutely. If you're seeing both roles doing everything, then you know, like, bro, I can do anything.
Literally. Oh my, that was nice.
Okay, so you are very God-fearing, which I love and I admire. I haven't started my spiritual journey just yet, but I've been having conversations about it recently. So I want to know if that is something that's happened recently over the years, or if that's something that's been derived from your childhood, your background, your upbringing.
Yeah, so I've honestly grew up in a church. Oh. Literally, I've been going to church from, I'm pretty sure, the moment that I came out my mother's womb.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
Yeah, but I want to say that like I've always known God to be my mother's God or like my dad's God versus my actual personal savior type of God. So yeah, I've always had a relationship with God. I've always known God, but in terms of my actual personal relationship with him, I think I want to say that truly started a little bit after college.
Okay.
And that's when I was just like, okay, I want to know who God is for myself, what that looks like for me. Because to be quite honest with you, I kind of feel like knowing your parents' God can only get you so far. And I think once you come to a certain age and come to a certain maturity, it's like, okay, now it's my time to kind of develop my own relationship to see what that's like for me. Yeah. So, yeah, I've always believed in God, but in terms of knowing him for myself, like, that's my homie. Definitely after college. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. After college, when I started to become more serious. Like, even a little bit after college, like, I got baptized. I just started taking things a little bit more seriously. Yeah.
I want to dive into real quick the differentiation between your parents' God and your God. Mm-hmm. Because I don't feel like a lot of people make that differentiation or realize that, and then that allows them to turn their back to God. It's like, he's too judgy, or he's this and he's that, because your parents have created this idea, this facade behind it that isn't necessarily true, but they might not have all the answers. Yeah. So I want to discuss the time that you realize, like, wait, there's a relationship that I need to create with my God that is separate from the one that my parents introduced me to with their God.
Yeah. So I love how you say introduced me to, because I think that's what it is. I think when I say my parents' God, it's more so like an introduction. They did their due diligence and they were like, Franny, Jesus is the Son of God. Jesus died for you, X, Y, and Z. That was more so of an introduction. The introduction was also every Sunday you have to go to church. Before you go to bed, you have to pray. Like, things that kind of developed as a routine. But then when I got older, it was more so like, okay, why am I doing this? Like, am I doing this only because my parents told me to do this? Or am I doing this because I truly believe that, like, God is amazing? Am I doing this because I truly feel like God has done so much to me, like so much for me, that he's delivered me, that he's protected me, that he's provided for me? And if I truly do believe those things, why not get to know him a little bit more? That's the same thing, like, you talk about your best friend. Like, you talk to her, you like have your own relationship with her, you like tell her secrets, you literally confide in her, and I'm sure like you want to continue to know more about who she is, right? So I feel like that's the same thing with me as well too, like, or anybody that has a personal relationship. You want to continue to remove the layers of him, because no one can ever know who he fully is, but it's literally just peeling layers off. Like, I want to know more about you. I want to know what your plans is for my life. I want to know why you made me the way you did, like the quirks about me, like what exactly is it? I want to know more of you, and not even more of you for myself, but more of you for your goodness as well too, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And more of you so I can try and imitate those things as best as I can.
Exactly.
Like, I'm going to try and be like you. Like, let me, if I need to know more about you.
Exactly.
And that's what it is.
Literally just that. And it says that, like, his spirit lives in us. So if his spirit lives in us, I want to know what that spirit is so I can know how to, like, do more of that. Like, I want people to see me, but see the God that lives in me. Like, that's what I want. Like,
what?
Yeah. Like, it's not even about me. And it probably sounds wild to say out loud, but, like, it's really not about me. It's really all about him. And I want people to get a glimpse of him when they see me. Even when I'm at work, I want you to feel like you're getting the biggest hug from God. I want you to feel like that piece that you feel like you're missing, you're getting that through me, but not because of me, because of all of him, if that makes sense. I'm like, oh.
Yes.
Yeah. He's amazing.
That was beautiful.
Yeah. Everything.
God
is amazing. Yeah. Literally everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Like the only being that you ever know will never turn your, like, literally. Will never. Like, you can do the
good.
Wildest things. And he's like,
so
all right.
Well. And he is so intentional. Like, he's literally made all of us so uniquely different. Literally each and every one of us has a purpose that's so different.
Yes.
Like, so different. So, yeah.
Yes, like,
literally.
that's all it is.
Yeah, literally.
I want to go into your personality a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, me and Francesca have known each other for a little bit. So we went to high school together.
Yes.
But she graduated a year ahead of me.
Okay.
So I want to discuss, because I know her a little bit, I know about your personality, and I know that you're outspoken and often an extrovert and intentional. You're very intentional with your presence. And sometimes when you're intentional with your presence and you kind of have a strong head on your shoulders as a woman, it's a little tough to maneuver through the world. Mm-hmm. So I want to know from you, like going through the high school years, the adolescent years, was it ever an issue of, all right, Franny, like calm down, like, or it's too much, or you're being too outspoken, a lot of what we experienced in the early 2000s, has that ever been your experience, or were people just allowing and receptive of who you were and your personality?
I feel like for the most part, people's been pretty receptive about who I am. I have been very extroverted. The only thing that I can say that I've noticed is that the more that I'm aligning more with my purpose, right? Like doing these conferences, traveling to, again, put these brunches and stuff like together. I think that's what makes some people a little bit uncomfortable. And then that's when I get, you're doing a little bit too much. Versus me just being...
It's not your personality that can be, air quotes, too much. It's you creating these new experiences, creating these business conferences.
Yes.
That's now too much.
Yes. And like, I feel like when I first started off, and it's so weird saying first started off because technically I really just started like 3 years ago. Crazy.
3 years is...
But it's, crazy. But it really started, like I first started to notice it, I want to say like 3 years ago when I first started it, when I was just like, I'm going to put together this event. I'm going to charge X, Y, and Z, like just throwing these ideas out. And a lot of people were just like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. But then there were some people that was just like, wait, what are you going to do?
Yeah, what?
And how much you're going to charge? And
are you sure this is a good idea?
Yeah. And if this is your first event, maybe that's price is a little bit too much.
People don't really know you. So
I got a lot of that. And it was just very interesting because you would think that people would be excited and people would be like, ooh, no, I think that's good. Ooh, actually, maybe you're charging a little bit too less. Mm-hmm. So I got the opposite. So that was kind of tough to maneuver through. But then I kind of have to sit and think. And something that I've always noticed is that when I feel like God gives me a vision, he gives it to me for a reason. And I don't expect people to naturally understand it. But for the most part, they always understand it at the end. Yes. And that's cool because it wasn't your vision to really like get in the first place. Right. So that's something that I hold on to. If I ever get like negative feedback, I'm just like, he didn't give you the vision. He gave me the vision. So I have to take it very like, I can't take everybody's opinion and just run with it. Yes. And certain times I can't even say things too quickly as well either. I gotta wait until I believe in it. I gotta wait until if I'm not pouring into it, then other people that I know believe in me until they pour into it. Because I feel like when something is so small and so fragile, the moment that you let someone's opinion get to you, it can easily cause that dream to like crush, right? Absolutely. So sometimes you gotta wait a little bit before chatting because
Absolutely. Yeah. I completely get it. And I honestly chalk it up to fear a lot of the times. Like the person's like, I could never do this. Mm-hmm. She like she can't do it either. There's no way that she can do it. And it's like, all right, it's a lot of you implementing your fears onto me. Yeah. But you can keep them.
You're literally just projecting. Like
you're projecting.
And sometimes that's hard though.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's so hard.
Absolutely.
And sometimes I don't think people just realize like, okay, they're projecting. Sometimes people are really just like, damn, is this really how, like...
That's the problem.
They see me? They really think I can't do it? Are they really, like, not... Like, that can be a lot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. That's the problem. You can really change somebody's mind about something that they really love.
Literally. That's why I'm like, when things are in its seed stage, you can't be telling it to everybody. You can't. You gotta... It gotta be in the most gentlest hands.
Yes.
And surrounded by people that's literally gonna pour into it. And if you don't have anyone that's gonna pour into it, then you gotta keep that to yourself. until you launch it, and then when people, because once you launch it, people's gonna like
always out the woodworks.
Yeah, exactly.
Out the woodworks.
Yeah.
So just keep it to you until you launch it, and then you know.
Yes.
Let's go ahead.
Literally, that is hilarious, but.
And also like terrible, because like we should.
It is. Now that you say that, right?
Oh gosh. Okay, so Francesca, you're a nurse, and that's where the Beyond Nursing experience derived from your experience as being a nurse. So I want to hop into that a little bit. So first things first, specifically you getting into nursing.
Yeah.
So you became a nurse in 2021.
Yes.
3 years ago.
Yes.
Which is a while.
Yes.
Why nursing? Why did that have your heart? And what else did we look at? Like, how did we end up as a nurse?
So it definitely did not have my heart. Like, no, it did not. So again, I come from a Haitian background, and my mother is a nurse as well too. And I feel like prior to me going into college, she's just like, do nursing. And I feel like there's a lot of Haitian people who are like either Haitian registered nurses, Haitian LPNs, like it was just a lot, and I just did not want to do that whatsoever. So originally I had thought that I was going to be a lawyer. I went to school at UMass Dartmouth. My undergrad was for criminal justice, and I minored in business administration. I started studying for the LSAT. I really thought, like, Francesca, you're about to be a lawyer, and it's about to be, you're about to be like the cutest lawyer ever. I'm like, okay. And
hello.
Then I was so ready. And like, I don't know if you remember, but like even in high school, they had, I don't know what class it was. I feel like it was some law class, but they had us go to the courtroom. Like it was, I forget the name of the class.
That's dope.
But like, even when I got to the courtroom, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can see myself doing this. Like, this is me. And then I started working at a law firm as I was studying for the LSAT, and I'm like, oh, this is not me. Like, I'm like, this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. The lawyers that I worked with kind of looked miserable. And not saying that every lawyer is miserable, but the ones that I did work with at the two law firms that I worked at for like years, they just didn't like their job. And I just couldn't see myself continuing in that type of energy. So I remember going home to my mother, and I'm like, Mommy, I just feel so confused right now because I feel like I just wasted I went to school for 4.5 years. Yeah. So I'm like, I just wasted 4.5 years. I don't want to do this. I see other people that I went to high school with that's like living their life. They're making money. They're in Cali. They're in here. And meanwhile, I'm in a job that I absolutely despise. Like, I can't do this. And then my mom was like, Franny, like, I know you said you don't want to, but if you want to consider nursing, I think that's something that you should do. And it's just so crazy how I feel like God uses people, because when she was first like pouring into me, I don't think I was ready to receive it. I literally ran away from it. But I think that the more that she continued, she did it when I needed it the most, when my heart was ready to receive when my heart was ready to receive those instructions. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go to nursing school. But it wasn't that simple, because then I had to do my prerequisites. And my prerequisites took like two years.
Wait, but you didn't already, they're not the same prereqs as what you already did?
No, because now with nursing, it's more like science-based. So like I had to do a lot of like Chem 1, Chem 2, bio, A&P 2, microbiology. Like, it was just lots of sciences that I didn't take during my undergrad year. I took lots of like, my gen eds were gen eddy. Like, it wasn't like sciencey or whatever. So that took me some time. That literally took me, like 2 years to do. And again, this was during its seed stage, right? So I wasn't really out here telling people, like my close friends knew, but I remember telling somebody else that was also like one of my good friends. And when I was just like, yeah, I'm actually going to be a nurse. Well, I want to be a nurse. They literally was just like, you sound confused. And I'm like, me? I sound confused? So this is what I mean, that you really can't be telling people stuff during its seed stage, because realistically, that could have broke me. That could have made me be like, maybe I am confused. Maybe I do need to just stick it out and like go to law school. You know what I mean? So fast forward back, I got accepted to a nursing program, and I became a nurse. And one of the things that has always been there for me is that even when I wanted to be a lawyer, my ultimate goal was to be an advocate. Like, that was the goal. And I thought the only way to be an advocate was through law, but not realizing that as a nurse, I'm my patient's biggest advocate. Like, literally just that. So my perspective had to change throughout those years. I seen it one way. Meanwhile, God's like, baby, you're thinking like this,
Yes.
and I got all this for you.
Yes.
So that's how I became a nurse. It was not plan B. It was not plan A. It was not my plan A, but it was always God's plan.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but it's just so funny because people are like, have you always wanted to do this? I'm like,
Absolutely
absolutely not.
not.
Like, no. But do I love it? Absolutely.
Yeah? You
Yeah.
love it?
I literally love it. Like, first of all, my day's never boring. I'm on my feet, but I'm literally like pouring into people, but I'm not leaving feeling empty either.
Yes.
And I think that was the difference between me working at the law firm and me doing what I'm doing now. At the law firm, I was pouring, and I felt so drained. Versus here, there's an energy that comes in because I'm doing what I know I'm supposed to do. Yeah, so it's a little different. Not saying that I don't leave work tired. I am, but there's like a natural feeling that happens because I know that I'm aligned.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, and it feels
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, it
And
feels so right. It feels so good. And I had someone ask me like last week when I did the event in Dallas, they were just like, did you always know that you wanted beyond nursing experience? And I'm like, no, but I didn't. I didn't. But I think there's, when you follow the plan that God has for you, doors open. I can say that. Yeah. So never in my plan, never did I think I would be here with you talking about a business that I've never even imagined prior to 3 years ago. But yeah, I think when you follow the plan that he has for you, doors will open and things will just start making sense and things will just start clicking and opportunities will come. And it's just like, am I even deserving of that? If I'm being for real. But
oh my gosh, I love that because that's so honest and raw. And I think you are completely correct when you said that you don't think that you were ready to receive the information from your mom just yet when she had originally told you. And I do think that's part, like, you going through and like really attempting and really trying to be that lawyer and getting into a space surrounded by lawyers.
Yeah.
Like, you gave it that shot.
Yeah.
And it just ended up like, nah, this ain't it.
No. And one thing that I can say that I'm so happy that I did is I'm happy that I started over. Like, I think so many people would have said,
I'm already this deep.
Yeah, like, I gotta keep going. Like, I gotta,
right.
Yeah, it's okay. Like, I'll be okay.
I'll
you know what I mean?
Cry myself to sleep every night. It's
Literally.
okay.
And it's just like, I can't do that. Yeah, no.
And I feel like for certain people, it's like, I feel like certain people are bigger than the spaces or the compartments they allow themselves to be in. Mm-hmm. So I think you might be larger than being a lawyer because though you are an advocate for people's lives, which are amazing, but nursing has brought beyond nursing experience.
Yeah.
And you being a lawyer could have brought something else, but but this is just
so much bigger than I could even think or imagine. Like, girl,
insane. I can't wait to dive into it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to talk about being a nurse just a little bit longer. And I want to ask you, because I always think about this personally, and I want to know. So, being in the medical field can take a huge mental toll on you, no matter what position you're in.
Yeah.
But I want to say, especially being a nurse, simply because most of the people in the medical field that I know are nurses. So I get to hear it from the nursing perspective. But I want to know from you, how do you keep yourself in a mental space that's positive for you while a lot of your week is spent with people that aren't necessarily in the best shape of their lives?
Yeah. So I feel like it's something that you learn with time. I always say that I'm a babe when it comes to nursing because November will be 3 years since I've been a nurse. So like, I still have so much more to learn. But what I can say is that my first year of nursing, it was very rocky because I feel like I didn't know how to time manage. I didn't know how to separate my personal feelings from my work feelings. I got super burnt out. So burnt out to the point that I remember being in DC and my mom was like, "Fran, are you okay? Like, you just sound so off." And I'm like, "I'm just so tired. I've been working." And they were giving me super like emotionally draining like patients that pretty much because of that, because of freeze.
I got you. Take your time.
Okay, so I was getting emotionally draining patients to the point that I feel like I was just so tired that I kind of actually did make a mistake. So quick story time, okay? Quick story time. But this made me realize, like, Francesca, you have to put you first. And if you're tired, then you need to stay your behind home. Like, it was very much so like that. But pretty much I was working. I was so tired. I was emotionally exhausted, physically exhausted. And I was drawing blood for a patient and I ended up getting like poked with a needle, right? And
Used? It was used?
Girl, it was used. And I
Francesca.
started freaking out. Like, I'm like, what? Yeah, literally, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Wait, was the patient still with you?
She was still with me, but I was just like, at that point, it became about me. I'm like, me, I'm patient. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I remember having to like go down to the emergency room, having to get my blood test, having to get like her blood test to make sure that like everything was okay. And that was my breaking point because it was just like, Francesca, you're tired. And the reason, and like, granted, I'm sure this would have happened. I'm not saying this would have happened. Like, when you're working with needles and stuff like that, like, mistakes are prone to happen. But this more so happened because, like, you were probably just tired, right? Or, like, you knew, like, you probably shouldn't have been working that, like that day. So, for me, that point was kind of just like, okay. So you need to put you first, right? And if you're tired or if you feel like you need like a mental health day or if you feel like you need a chill, whatever that is, that's okay. And you need to do just that. So I feel like since then, whether that's like, and again, super cliche, but me working out, like that's amazing for my mental health, right? Me like not eating wild, that's amazing for my mental health. Me going to therapy, that's amazing for my mental health. Making sure that I'm afloat, not even afloat, like super afloat. Yeah, make sure that I'm afloat before I can help my patient. I think that's the only way that I'm going to be, one, my best self, and that's the only way that I'm going to be the best nurse for my patient or the best sister, the best daughter, the best friend, whatever that case may be, is if I first pour into myself and understand, Francesca, what's your capacity at this time? Yeah.
So important. So important.
Yeah. So that was my horror story. And thankfully I'm okay.
I can't
but
believe it. But that probably happens.
I'm sure it's not even, I'm sure it definitely does happen. It does. But I just feel like for me, I should have stayed home. And not saying that like I was like just worked for like 40 hours and I'm going into work. It wasn't even that. It was just like, maybe today you should like have a day for you.
Yeah.
Like,
maybe it should be a personal day.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. But sometimes I feel like we get so hyper focused on work. And it's just like, I don't even think we were even created to just be out here working 40 hours. Like, I don't. So.
Girl, don't get me started on the fact that we should all be in the jungle naked eating fruit. Like, don't get me started on that. Doing the nasty behind a tree.
You are hilarious.
Don't get me started, but it's so true. But we've gotten to the point of like, especially in this country, we've gotten to the point of not only like I need to work, but I need to work and put that before my body. Yeah. Put that before my brain, which activates this entire system.
Yeah. Your body will let you know when it's like, babe, you're doing too much and I'm going to shut down.
I'm going to shut down.
Yeah. So either you shut down and take a nap or I'm going to shut down for you. Which would you prefer? But it's going to happen regardless.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
You are going to go from 0 to 10 in this meeting right here because you cannot keep me going like this or you're going to take a nap.
Yeah. Literally just that. So seeing myself as the patient first, I think that's like so important to making sure that like I have mental clarity, that I'm okay. Learning how to say no. I'm still in the process of learning how to say no. Sometimes I'll be like, yes, 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 yes. Now I'm like, no, sorry. Maybe next week.
I'll let you know. Even
yeah.
to give me a little more time to get the no out.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes my phone be on do not disturb. Sometimes like if my girlfriends, like if they know I have a super long shift, like they know that I probably can't be on the phone for like an hour at a time because I'm tired. So it's just like just learning what those boundaries are. Yeah, and sticking to those boundaries. I think that's so important.
Sticking to them, definitely.
Yeah, because creating them is kind of easy.
Right? I can lay in bed and make
But sticking to
when
it.
Your friend asks you for the third thing of the day, and like you have done 18 things already that day, and you're ready in bed.
Yeah.
Getting that no out.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, this will just be quick. I just do one more thing. No.
And that's hard.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
It's a process.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It takes so much. All right. Now we're going to hop into the beyond nursing experience.
Yes, my baby.
Yes. Okay, so I want to know, in your own words, what is the beyond nursing experience? What is it? You said that you travel for it. Explain to people what exactly it is.
Okay, so beyond nursing experience is my baby. But it's pretty much a space where healthcare workers can connect. When I first became a nurse, I think that when everybody thinks of nursing, right, I think they think that it's cute. Like, it's like, oh my gosh, you're a nurse. Ooh, scrubs. Ooh, this. But it's just like,
Crocs.
Yeah.
Stanley.
Yeah. It's like aesthetically pleasing.
Yes.
But working nurses work different shifts. But let's say for me, working 312s isn't the easiest thing, right? Like sometimes we go through a lot. Sometimes we go through patient abuse. Sometimes we go through like colleagues that we may not necessarily agree with. Like there's so many things that are happening within this day-to-day that it was kind of hard for me to just talk about it to my friends. I could talk about it to my mother because my mother's a nurse, so she understands. But when it came down to talking about my friends, they just didn't understand. Like those who weren't nurses, which at the time I didn't have too many, I probably had like one or two. They just really didn't get it. And again, like my first year of being a nurse, it was kind of tough because it was just emotionally exhausting. So I'm like, I want to create a space where we're able to connect and talk about what we go through and how we go through it and how do we face these obstacles and what advice do you have to give, and like let's also celebrate our accomplishments together. Like I wanted a space for that. So I remember back in DC, I was also dealing with like a heartbreak as well too. And I remember being in DC in my living room and like just saying, God, what on earth do you have in store for me? Because I thought this relationship was going to work out, or like I'm in DC and now I'm kind of feeling like, am I really supposed to be out here? Like it was just a lot of uncertainty going on. And I kid you not, I truly remember me just asking God, like, I need something more. Like I need a way to just feel fulfilled in this moment, and I need this to make sense because right now certain things in my life just isn't making sense right now. And I kid you not, this happened in September, and then I ended up launching Beyond Nursing Experience in December. And I literally just put it out there. I told a few of my friends, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna do this for my 30th birthday. I'm going to put it out there and I'm going to see what happens. So I did it. My first event was December 2022. Yeah, December 2022. I put it on social media. Cassie, when I tell you that thing sold out in like 3 weeks, it sold out so fast. And I feel like that was confirmation from God. Like, babe, there might be some areas of uncertainty, but I got you. Like, I got you.
It didn't have to sell out so fast. It didn't have to be a hit. No. It didn't have to be all these people that are like, yes, I need this. I've been waiting for this. Yeah. Like, no, you brought something that was necessary.
That was needed. And it's so crazy because I always talk about planting seeds, right? About how even when becoming a nurse, I feel like at the time, maybe I wasn't ready from ready for the seed that my mom had planted, right? And even with beyond nursing experience, sometimes I think that it takes some heartbreak. Sometimes it takes you being a little bit more desperate enough to ask God for something that may be a little bit more wild. But the only reason why you ask is because you're so desperate for it, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I think at that moment, things just started to become a little bit more clear to me. Like, okay, I'm in DC for a reason. Okay, that relationship didn't work for a reason. Because if those things didn't happen, I don't think Beyond Nursing Experience would be here.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And honestly, by the grace of God, like, again, I'm working on my third event, and I've had like so many people travel from near and afar to come to this space. And literally, I have to ask myself, girl, are you deserving of this? Because this is crazy. But I get reaffirmed every single time, like, this is for you. This is, yeah.
It didn't have to sell out so fast. It didn't have to be a hit. No. It didn't have to be all these people that are like, yes, I need this. I've been waiting for this. Yeah. Like, no, you brought something that was necessary.
That was needed. And it's so crazy because I always talk about planting seeds, right? About how even when becoming a nurse, I feel like at the time, maybe I wasn't ready for the seed that my mom had planted, right? And even with beyond nursing experience, sometimes I think that it takes some heartbreak. Sometimes it takes you being a little bit more desperate enough to ask God for something that may be a little bit more wild. But the only reason why you ask is because you're so desperate for it, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I think at that moment, things just started to become a little bit more clear to me. Like, okay, I'm in DC for a reason. Okay, that relationship didn't work for a reason. Because if those things didn't happen, I don't think Beyond Nursing Experience would be here.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And honestly, by the grace of God, like, again, I'm working on my third event, and I've had like so many people travel from near and afar to come to this space. And literally, I have to ask myself, girl, are you deserving of this? Because this is crazy. But I get reaffirmed every single time, like, this is for you. This is, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And especially because you're doing it from a space of like genuine, like, this is a genuine business or a genuine task that you took on. Like, this is how I'm feeling. I know that other people are feeling this way.
Yeah.
How can I create a space where we can all come together and discuss how we feel and help each other?
Yeah. Like it's one thing I always say, that's like the slogan is like, you'll leave here encouraged. And that's always my desire. I want you to leave this space feeling filled. I want you to leave this place feeling inspired. I want you to leave this space feeling like you met God himself here and like a transformation occurred while you were here. And I think as nurses, again, we do so much pouring that it's easy to leave feeling empty. Absolutely. But once you come into this space, I want you to know that, no, we got you. Or like, you have people who get it. Or you have people that can also pour into you as well too. So it's a space to like network, right? But it's also a space to find your community. It's a space to connect. It's a space where a lot of times we'll have vendors, and you'll either get like a free therapy session or like a free like a free working out session with like a personal trainer, something that really allows you to like pour back into yourself after having to like pour out.
Yes. And having that be your day to day.
Yeah.
That is your day to day. That's what you're spending most of your time doing, is pouring out into
Yeah.
And then like, and I know that this comes with time to be able to manage this, but I feel like if I were a nurse and let's say I started my shift, I'm ready to go, peppy, I reset, I had some days off, I feel like if I encountered a patient of mine who passed early enough in that shift, it would affect my entire day.
Right.
And I feel like that is normal until you get to a space of understanding, a space of being there in a while, a space of being able to compartmentalize.
Yeah.
But everybody starts there.
Yeah.
So I feel like this space, this beyond nursing experience, allows these girls that are just starting to be like, whoa, like these feelings and emotions are big.
Yeah.
And it might happen at the beginning of my shift or at the middle of my shift, and it'll affect my entire shift. Tell me how I can get through this, mentor me through this. It's amazing because I'm sure you have girls that have been there that have been nurses for a year versus girls that have been nurses for 13 years.
Right, exactly.
It's an amazing space. I love that so much.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this or
Okay.
watching this,
Okay.
you should definitely start something for your industry. If you have any
Yeah.
questions, you should reach out to Francesca. Like, okay, girl, I'm gonna do this for the mechanics side.
So funny, girl. I'd be like, ooh, just start it. Just start it.
You got it.
You got it.
Let's dive into what happens at every, what do you call them? Conferences, experience?
Yeah. So sometimes I have imposter syndrome. So I've never called this a conference because I'm just like, girl, who are you to have a conference? But again, so that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a work in progress. Even though you see me doing these things, I feel like there's still things that are like, God's trying to work on me with. Like, Francesca, I need you to be more bold. Francesca, you're having imposter syndrome and you need to stop that. So I'm officially calling it a conference.
Yes.
Yeah. So officially,
They are conferences.
Yes. Yes.
And they happen over many states. They're not, okay.
So the last two, and now this third one happens in Boston, Massachusetts. Okay. But I recently did a pop-up one in Dallas, and that was like 2 weeks ago. I teamed up with one of my girlfriends, Alicia, who's also like the founder of Nurse on the Move, which is another nursing type of business. And she pretty much was like, I really want to go to Dallas and like, do you want to do a collaboration with me? And I'm like, okay, do you know anybody in Dallas? And she was like, no. And I'm like, why are we doing it in Dallas?
Why are we doing
I'm like, why are we doing that? Especially because like we both lived in DC. If she hears it, she's probably gonna laugh. But especially because we both lived in DC. So I'm like, I feel like DC would be perfect because we have a network there, right? But again, God really calls people to put you out your comfort zone. He definitely does, because even in my own prayer closet, one of the things that I said is that I want Beyond Nursing Experience to be able to go statewide, right? Like, I want to be able to always do it in Boston because Boston's my hub. But I want to be able to go to Dallas, to go to LA, to go to Atlanta, to go to New York. And DC would have been safe. DC would have been the safe choice because I also have a network there. Dallas was not the safe choice, but Dallas truly allowed both of our faiths to kind of team up to kind of get this event going. So we did have one in Dallas, and the goal is for every year, one will be in Boston and the second will always be in a different state.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah.
Twice a year.
And
I saw the photos from the Dallas one. That one was booming.
Yes, and people showed up.
Yeah.
They showed up, and they thought we were from there. We were like, no. And they were like, wow. And I'm like, yeah, girl. So, yeah, Dallas was amazing. And again, it just shows how that there's a need that's there. Because for people to show up to an event that I don't even know who
these people.
Yeah, I don't know who these girls are. Yeah. What's Beyond Nursing Experience? What's Nurse on the Move? Like, what is this? But still show up.
Yes.
It's an amazing feeling. I even had one of the girlies that I met out there say that she requested time off to come to my event that's gonna happen in October. And it's just like, you're gonna do what?
Say it in this economy?
Yeah. I'm like, no. And she's just like, yeah, like I already put in the request. And I'm like, there's a need. Like, girl, there's a need.
There absolutely is. Yeah. And you're providing to that to people who really, like, who've been searching for it.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I know. It's so crazy.
But it's also, like, on the flip side, like, when people say things like that, like, oh, I took off work, or, like, I've been following you since X amount of time, or whatever, whatever. A lot of the times, I don't feel like they realize, like, bro, that hits crazy.
Girl.
Because I'm just a girl.
Literally just a girl. I'm like, me?
Like, are you sure it was me?
Yeah.
Like, are you, like, double check right now because me?
Literally.
And, like, that goes to show you that, like, you have so much purpose. Yeah. There's so much that you bring to the table. Yeah. And that you just need to run with it.
Yeah, I truly thank God. It's so funny because my mom is, like, my biggest supporter, right? Like, literally my biggest supporter. So she will take her phone out and be like, Beyond Nursing Experience happening in October, right? She'll tell people about it. So she told one of her coworkers, like, oh, like, this is my daughter. She's having an event. And the nurse that was with her was just like, that's your daughter? That's the person that's the president of Beyond Nursing Experience. And my mom was like, oh, yeah. And even when my mom came back to tell me that, I'm like, wow.
Like, they knew.
Yeah.
They already knew. Before.
Yeah. I'm telling you, when I really tell you, and I don't want this to be about like God, 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 right? But like when I tell you, like, even when you don't know what those heart's desires are, I truly believe that when you decide to like submit to him, he'll show you what those desires are so it can be aligned, and then things would truly start to happen. Because I just never, ever, ever, ever did I ever imagine me saying that I have my own business, that I have a nonprofit, that I have, that I do these annual conferences that people show up for and people need. Like, never did I think that that was even in my...
They sell out.
Yeah. Like, I didn't even think that that was even in my, like, that would even happen in my lifetime. Like, that's just not something that I thought. I was okay with being, like, 36-hour girly that goes to work and that just does whatever afterwards. Yeah. But it's just like, no, there's so much more.
So much.
There is so much more that I have planned for you. What? Like...
And it's insane. It blows our minds.
Yeah. Yeah.
But hey, it's not for us to determine or figure out. It's for us to just, all right, I'm taking your hand, lead me. Yeah. Lead the way.
Literally.
Oh my God.
And that takes some trust, and it's a little uncomfortable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So there's a great deal of women of color that attend your events. I want to know if that is a Go
ahead. I'm sorry.
Are you only for the blacks?
Do you want me to answer now? Or do you want to ask it again? I don't know.
We're hopping into this? Or
yeah. Oh, that's so funny.
Okay. There's a great deal of women of color that attend your conferences. And I want to know if that was an underlying goal for the experience or if that just happens to be the case.
So it's so funny, and I think that's why I chuckled when you first... I didn't even chuckle. I started laughing when you first asked, because it was never supposed to be a black thing, right? Like, it wasn't. I wanted everyone that feels like they need something in this industry... if you feel like you need something, I want you to be in this space. Like, that's truly what I thought was going to happen, okay? Now, every year, my beautiful Black and brown sisters show up, and I am so thankful that they continue to show up. Wow. And I think that for a while, I didn't want to call it like a Black thing. Like, I didn't want to just say that's what it is. But I mean... if the shoe fits, right? if the shoe fits, I'm like, I'm very much so accepting to it. Before, I had a very hard time being accepting to it because I'm like, I was worried about stepping on people's toes. Yeah, I'm like, I very much so wanted to be inclusive to all. And again, Beyond Nursing Experience very much so is inclusive to all, but it's very clear that there's a need amongst Black and brown women. And if that's where the need is, then I'm totally fine with trying to fill that, like 1,000%. Funny enough, with the theme that I'm gonna have for this year, the theme is minority women in color. No, that is not the theme. The theme is, rewind. That's not the theme. The theme is minority women in healthcare. That's the theme. I got tongue twisted. So it's going to be not just nurses, but there's going to be doctors, PAs, therapists, also nurses as well too. And again, I think because I've had such a hard time saying that it's a Black thing, God has truly been working on me about that. So even when this theme came to pass, I'm like, God, I don't really want that to be, I don't want that to be the theme. How about we just do women in healthcare, right? Like, let's do that. But one of the things that I've noticed, Cassie, is that when I worked in DC, it was very diverse. Like, I was working with Black, white, Asian, brown, like, it was so diverse that I forgot that I was a minority woman in healthcare. And not I forgot in terms of like, oh my gosh, I forget that I'm Black, but more so like, there's so much of me that it's not like oh, Francesca, that's what you are. Versus me coming back to Boston where I was the only Black nurse and like 52 white women, right? And it was just like, oh, snap, I'm a minority woman in healthcare. Like, you know? Yeah. So because that was my experience, and I always think that God kind of like works and deals with me first prior to making it a big thing for the event, I thought that it was so needed to have the theme minority women in healthcare because there's not enough spaces for us.
Absolutely.
There's literally not enough spaces.
Absolutely.
So with confidence, I'm saying that that's the theme of the year. But again, I'm inclusive to all. But if my Black girlies and brown girlies want to show up, then by all means, keep showing up, and I will continue to keep pouring out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I completely understand the idea of like not wanting to step on toes and wanting it to be open to everyone.
Yeah.
Like every nurse,
Yeah.
because every nurse has a heavy load on their mind. Every nurse gets a day where it's like, bro, I'm so drained. Like I wish I could just offload. But like if these are the girlies that came out and to support you and like, yo, I have your back, I'm paying for this, I'm here, I'm showing up for you, then this is your tribe.
Right, exactly.
This is your tribe. And that doesn't mean that you can't accept other oncomers.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
But these are who came show up.
And there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
There is such a big reason for that. So I'm here for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that you're opening it. So is it this year that you're opening it to doctors and therapists and stuff?
Yes.
Yeah?
It's going to be this year.
Yay.
So, which again, that's very new for me because typically it, for the most part, it really is nurses. But this year, because I'm also working with like Black doctors and so on as well too, I'm realizing that the story's kind of similar. Mm-hmm. The only difference is our title. So we're expanding. That won't be a every year type thing, but this year we are expanding and we're making it so like Black doctor, Black PA, Black therapist, Black NP, Black RN. It's giving black.
Black.
Yeah, it's giving all of that.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna be so beautiful.
Absolutely.
I think it's gonna be powerful, and it's giving collaborative care. But I think it's gonna be like, I don't even know what to expect, but I know it's going to be, something's gonna shift. That part I know.
Okay, so Francesca, what do people have to look forward to from you and the Beyond Nursing experience?
So our next conference is going to be on October 12th.
Yay.
It's going to be in Boston from 2 to 6. If you want more information about where that is, when that is, you can follow us on social media. My Instagram is beyondnursing_experience. And my website is bnexperience.org. And you'll get lots of updates on there.
So people can connect with you on social media.
Yes.
And then how do they purchase tickets for the event?
It will be Eventbrite. We should be selling tickets. Well, I don't know when you plan on releasing this, but by the time that she releases this, tickets should be already out already, and it'll be through Eventbrite.
Okay. And then can you give guests an idea of how much ticket costs typically are?
Yes.
Or you don't have to if you don't want to.
I totally don't mind. I definitely don't mind.
Okay.
So if you catch the early bird tickets, which I recommend, right, then you can get it for about $75. Okay. If not that, then tickets will more than likely be around that $100 mark.
Okay.
Yeah. And then,
go.
Yeah. And then it comes with food. It comes with, were you? Okay.
Yeah,
I'm like, perfect.
Go,
yeah.
Girl, tell them.
So it comes with food. It comes with drinks. It also comes with, of course, the entire experience, listening to panelists, networking. There will also be like a vendor shop as well, too. So you'll have access to that. And then you'll also be able to win some free giveaways as well, too, whether that's a free personal training session, a therapy session, whatever vendors we have, you'll be able to have a chance to like shop around, too.
Everybody loves a good freebie.
Listen,
so hello.
Listen.
But I want to dive into real quick the panelists.
Yes.
Who can people listen to? Who should they expect to hear from? And you don't have to say the names, but how do you choose, like, this person has an experience or a story or is able to be a panelist for this event? Yeah,
so it's when it comes to choosing my panelists, I'm so like picky. Yes. Like I'm very picky. And I honestly pray about it, right? And then I kind of like have a conversation with them to see if what they're saying aligns with the brand of Beyond Nursing Experience. Because you can be an amazing person and be super successful, but maybe our brands just may not align, and that's okay, because ultimately I want people to come feeling like they received something. So that's my first priority. So all of the panelists there, they are amazing women. They are, whether it's because they've gone through obstacles or they found ways to maneuver through trials to get where they are today. They're like some heavy hitters. I know we spoke about it a little bit, but this year it won't just be nurses. We still will have a nurse. So we're still going to have a RN. We're going to have an NP. We're going to have an MD. We're going to have a PA. We're going to have a therapist. We're going to have such an array of people that's in the healthcare field that it's going to be, so good. Yeah, it's going to be so good. Like, so good. It
sounds like so, like, you're getting so much. Like,
yeah.
And then how long is each conference typically? 4 hours, 2 hours?
So I want to say about 4 hours. Yes. Yeah, it's going to be so good. And one of the things that I like is that it's not just going to be conference style where it's just panelists talking. Like, there's going to be a chance to network in the beginning. There's going to be someone that's going to be like saying a spoken word. There's gonna be like a singer there. Like it's gonna be an experience.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, this is an experience.
It's truly gonna be an experience.
Oh, it's so much more than just that conference. You come in, it's stuffy, you grab a sandwich, you leave. It's like we're gonna cocktail hour, it's freebies.
Yeah, we're gonna chat, we're gonna have fun, we're gonna enjoy, because we deserve that.
Yes. Yeah. Night out, girl.
It's given a night out, but instead for brunch. Yeah. So it's given a brunch with your girlfriend.
Yes. A girlies brunch.
That's what it's giving.
Well, girls and guys. Or is it all girl? What is it typically?
Girl, for some reason, girls keep showing up too. So I'm like, are we making this a girl thing? But guys are so welcome.
Yes.
They are very much so welcomed. I would love for a man to, typically my brothers show up, but I would love people outside of my, like, siblings to show up. That would be nice.
So I would like to say, if you are a man that is in the medical field in the Boston area and you are currently single, I would say hop onto the Beyond Nursing Experience Instagram. Yes. Take a look at some of those flicks. Okay. And then when October comes around, get yours. You better be there front and center. Because the girls are so pretty.
Yeah, beautiful. And one thing that I love is that, like, my girls, they, like, show up. Like their scrubs are at home, and they literally show up. And it's a beautiful thing to see.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I love that. They literally show up.
Yeah, and I think the guys should definitely be in that space, in that area. So yeah, something definitely to think about, definitely to consider, guys in the medical field that are in Boston.
Okay.
Okay. One more time, I wanted you to reiterate it one last time how people can connect with you and connect with Beyond Nursing Experience.
Okay, so my personal Instagram is Fancy is Forever. My Beyond Nursing Experience Instagram is beyondnursing_experience. And my website where you can sign up for our mailing list is bnexperience.org.
Beautiful. Okay, so I have one final question to wrap this all up in a bow.
Yes.
All right. I ask everyone this. So the question is, what is something that you wish more people knew? And that could be applied to anything, work, life, anything. But this podcast was created for people to get knowledge and for people to learn something. And that's why I put these videos out. So what is something that you wish that more people knew?
I want to say it's never too late to start over. I know we touched upon it before, but I think a lot of the times we get in our own head because we're like, well, I'm too old, or I'm too this, or I've been doing this for too long, and I've already started it for X, Y, and Z. But what we don't realize is that when we do decide to walk in our purpose, God would literally restore all that time. So if you do want to start over, if you want to start a new business, if you want to go back to school, if you want to go move to a different state because you feel like that's what you're being led to, do just that. Don't get in your own way. Don't let time get in your own way. And again, I promise that time will be restored.
Yes, that was so good. That was so good. I love it. Okay. We're going to end on that note. Thank you guys so much for listening, watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. But I want you guys to really know that I appreciate this. I appreciate you for getting this far. So Thank you, Francesca, for being here.
Thank you, Cassie,
Oh my gosh,
for allowing me like into your space.
Of course. What the heck? We have to have you back.
Yeah,
and
no,
see, like...
seriously. Before we go, we have to just do a quick thing.
Yes.
So we were in French class together.
Yes,
I don't think we told the people that.
We were.
Yes, we were in French class together, and Cassie really like held me down in class.
I did?
You don't remember?
No, what did I do?
You would help me with all the exams. With all the homework and exams, Cassie. Come on. Cassie was amazing at French.
Wait, I was?
Yes.
Oh,
Cassie.
that breaks my heart. I forgot that.
No way.
I forgot that.
Oh my gosh, we sat right next to each other in class, and Cassie.
And I would help you?
You would help me.
I'm so happy I did that.
So this is literally, I kid you not, this is like such a full circle moment because I'm like, oh my gosh, not you helping me, and now I'm
now you're
here.
coming here
Yeah,
to
like
help me out.
Yeah, no, stop.
Lord knows.
Not helping you because girl, you don't need help with this. You are all good. But it was just a full circle moment because I'm just like, oh my gosh, I remember how she really used to help me in French class.
You see,
brown girlies helping
brown girlies,
literally
over years.
Years.
Oh, Francesca, that makes me so
happy. It's all about collaboration and never competition. So thank you again.
It's all about collaboration.
All about collaboration.
All right, I have to go, guys, because I'm giving her a hug.
That was so
God,
cute.
I forgot all about that.
No, freaking, you were so great. Yeah.
You're welcome. Ooh,
yeah.
Sorry. Do you want to have anything else to say? We have to cut these cameras.
No,
all right.
we're done.
Bye, y'all.
Yeah.
We're done?
No, it's up to you.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
We're good.
done.
We're good. No, we're good. I'm ending it there.